On Blunt Talk this evening is Kodwelani Sakala, who is UPPZ Secretary General. Welcome to Blunt Talk.
Thank you very much. Good evening to all the lovely viewers of Muvi TV.
All right. So for the guests who are very first time, comers here, we have two basic rules for the debate. The first rule is that we all have 3 minutes each to answer the questions that I'll be asking you this particular evening. And then if you need to counter-react to your fellow panelists, or if you have to answer to your fellow panelists, you have your 3 minutes that is allocated to you that you have to answer along with your particular, counter reaction. So let's get into it. We are talking political violence ahead of the elections. My first question goes to you, Gabriel Kibombwe, from the PF, the National Youth Secretary. As of Thursday, 3rd June 2021, EPPZ suspended rallies ahead of the elections. What is your reaction as a party?
Thank you very much. Allow me to stand.
Yes, please feel
so
free.
That I could feel useful as well. Yeah, so I think the position of the party has been the same from the onset. We have a party with a leadership that values life of every Zambian. We put it first, and that is why our party says that want to make every Zambian count, and you find that in our manifesto. So even before EPPZ talked about the banning of political gatherings, political rallies, our party was first to demonstrate leadership. We demonstrated leadership by banning all political kind of gatherings. You may see that even where the Patriotic Front is receiving defectors, especially from our former strongest rivals, UPND, we no longer even gather them to publicize them, to show them, because we realize that even those UPND cadres who are joining our party are not worthy of being put at risk. So as a party, we have listened to the medical experts, and we're in agreement with the EPPZ that it is not worth losing a life of a Zambian just to get re-elected. The Zambians have already seen what the party has done. Everything that we've been able to achieve as a mighty patriotic front is there for everybody to see. So as a result, we find it of no use really to start gathering people in political rallies, moving them from one place to another, trying to demonstrate your muscle. Our muscle is going to be evident in the ballot. So in brief, we are in agreement with EPPZ. Yeah. Because that is the best practice.
Would you believe this is a strategy that you're using to advantage yourself as a political party?
How do we advantage ourselves? Do
because of course
people vote at a rally?
Yeah.
No, people vote from the ballot. So how do we advantage ourselves?
Well, of course.
By the way, would actually be, you see, politics is about perception. Politics is about perception, and that is why you can see our friends gathering people from Monze, Mazabuka, Choma, just to come to Mulungushi, and probably admire the bridge that the Patriotic Front has put across on Greatest Road. The reason why that happens, is simple. You want to create an impression you've got a following. So if you think it's about advantaging ourselves, then Patriotic Front will be disadvantaging ourselves by not holding rallies. But it is a matter of principle that every life counts. And for us, that is priority. What we've been able to do, people already know what we've been able to do. So there's no need for us to be holding rallies.
All right, just let me hold you there. Your time is up, but I'll give you an extra 15 seconds. So the opposition are saying you are banning rallies, whilst your leader, of course, with which duty he has, is busy moving across the country to officiate and commission different projects. And of course, there are a lot of gatherings where he is going. He's currently in the Eastern Province right now. And of course, we'll be able to see a gathering at the commission that he'll be, visiting tomorrow. Isn't that the truth? Isn't that what's on the ground?
So the painful truth is that there is the party and there is the government. President Edgar Chagwa Lungu is the Republican president. Painful as it is for the opposition, they will not stop him from commissioning. After all, it's his right. He has worked. So he's pointing. But that is not a party function.
All right, thank you so much. Let me get to Kodwelani Sakala, UPPZ Secretary General. Same question with you. As of Thursday, 3rd June 2021, ECZ suspended rallies ahead of the elections. What is your reaction as a party?
As UPPZ, United, Prosperous and Peaceful Zambia, we are a party that wants to unite the country. And we are a party that follow the rules of the nation. In this regard, as UPPZ, of course, we treasure most the people of Zambia, of which we are fighting for to rule. And if we lose them by the way of bringing them together as in masses, of which the health sectors have advised us not to do so because the disease doesn't know who belongs to which political party. And it is for this reason, as a party, we have felt we cannot risk the lives of the people. That's the reason why we have gone on the ground. We are doing our campaigns on a different level, different strategies. It's not only by rallies. If anything, from my own views, rallies deceive. We have seen people gathering multitudes, thousands of people, but at the end of the day, those thousands or multitudes don't show up to vote for them. So as UPPZ, we have no big deal about the banning. Otherwise, we are supporting the golden rule of health, because the same people today will need them tomorrow. We are fighting for a healthy Zambia.
All right.
Not just to have a vote, or not just to gather crowds or multitudes. Yeah. We want Zambia to continue with the healthy after today. Today, yes, we will cry foul that we have been banned from gathering the multitude, but that's not stopping us from campaigning. We have many other ways in which we can campaign, and that's we should do, because the referees of this game have stopped us.
As UPPZ?
We are using many strategies, of which some of them I may not say them because I know my comrades may copy and utilize those for their political expedient. So all we are saying is we are doing all campaigns, door to door is part of them. And we have many others that we have brought on board, of which if I'm to review them to my comrades here, they'll be glad and take not from there.
Don't you think door-to-door is still something that is vulnerable to the citizens? Because
no, it is.
As you are moving, all right, with the people that you've interacted, are you ensuring that the COVID guidelines are being undertaken?
That's what we are doing, and that's my area remarks. I said we are taking number one, the Zambian people as the most important. In as much as we go from one door to the other, we are doing our social distancing. We are masking up. For your own information, I came here while masking up. So in short, as we do all those things, as we do all those things, we are making sure that the guidelines are followed.
All right.
Because we know even our lives will be at risk if we don't take care.
Thank you so much. Let me move the question to you, UPND, Lusaka District IPS, Tom Likwanya. Same question with you. What is your reaction with the suspension of the rallies by ECZ?
Thank you so much, comrade. I greet the people that are watching and the mighty UPND members that are following us all over the world. And the leadership of the UPND, we also salute President Akande Chidema for according me this opportunity to represent him and the party at large. I want to say that the UPND has always been law-abiding, and for this reason, from the time that the COVID-19 started, we have always followed the SI 21, SI 22 that gives guidance on how COVID-19 guidelines must be followed. And we did follow that. When we received news that campaign rallies, political party rallies have been banned, we expressed displeasure as UPND because the government of the day under the Patriotic Front has been hypocritical. The government of the day has not been sincere. They have not been practicing what they preach. The PF government, they are on a record having abrogated COVID-19 rules through their massive rallies that they held, well before even campaigns were launched. The PF government, they are on a record commissioning projects with a huge crowds of people. They are on a record having a lot of people, thousands of PF cadres, escorting a minister to go and attend court sessions. The PF government, they are on a record having misappropriated COVID funds. They channeled money that was supposed to be made for roads, for COVID-19 to roads. It is on a record having misappropriated masks, hand sanitizers, and a number of COVID kits that were donated by the Jack Ma Foundation. They are on a record through their president to be the first and the only part that has abrogated these rules with impunity.
All right, quickly answer my question, Mr. Matomola.
I just want to say that as UPND, we followed these rules, we suspended our rallies, and we resorted to having roadshows, which I want to confirm to the nation, and we have seen that our rallies, our roadshows have been suffocated and have been frustrated by the police. We were following COVID-19 rules. We were following the issue of face masking and sanitizing.
Let me just hold you there. You were live on your Facebook broadcast today, and clearly we didn't see any social distancing and masks whilst you had your roadshows.
Comrade, I want to tell you that given the circumstance that we have, elections are a constitutional provision. And because elections are a constitutional provision, we need to mask up. We need to exercise social distance.
Mr. Matomola.
We were exercising social distance, but under difficult conditions, because we are in an election. The United States of America, one of the most progressive democracies, one of the most progressive democracies in the world, they held elections, and there was never a time they banned rallies in the United States.
All right. Thank you so much.
For us, we are saying that we are following these things. We are following the COVID-19 rules. And our president has not refused to follow these rules. I appreciate your answer. Themselves.
Thank you so very much. Back to you, Mr. Matomola. Do you, or rather, are you satisfied with how ECZ has, managed to engage different political parties ahead of the elections?
A few days ago, I attended a stakeholders meeting where ECZ called us as political parties to discuss about the suspension of political party rallies. They never gave us an opportunity to speak. They did not give chance to the different political players to speak their mind. ECZ has been dictatorial in this process. To start with, they never consulted the Zambian people whether they should scrap off the voter register and put a new voter register. They did it on their own. They never consulted the majority Zambians on whether political party rallies should be banned or not. ECZ has been doing things without consultation of the Zambian people. They have been bulldozing this system, and they have allowed the Patriotic Front government to dictate how things should be done to them. And we express worry because it's like Patrick Shundano, Isa Ochuru of ECZ. They do not listen to the Zambian people. They only listen to President Edgar Chagwalungu and the PF. So we are very much disappointed in the way ECZ has done it. For example, prison vote. They never consulted the Zambian people whether they should allow prisoners to vote. Secondly, as we are speaking right now, we as political stakeholders, we do not know the total number of registered voters and how polling stations are going to be aligned in prisons. They have not given us that information. The right to information from political parties has been denied by ECZ. And I want to say that ECZ is going to plunge this country in chaos for their lack of consultation and them siding with the government of the day on many occasions.
Well, it's been on record that ECZ has, really spoken out on the issue of engaging different political parties in what they're doing. Are you trying to say ECZ is not being truthful?
ECZ has not engaged and done a consultative process in a way that there was never a meeting that ECZ called and they allowed political parties either one to vote, two to agree. But each time that they call for stakeholder meetings, ECZ comes to make announcements. They called us to discuss about ladies. They never engaged us. They came to make announcements. They called us to discuss about the voter register. They came to make announcements. They did not. We Zambian people, we did not agree that the old voter register should be done away with. The aligning of new polling stations and polling streams. Zambian people did not decide. ECZ has become the giant that must decide on how elections should be without consulting the Zambian people. And the Zambian people, they are seeing ECZ officials to be so much loyal to the appointing authorities. And that is the reason why when UPND forms power, ECZ is going to be autonomous. The director of ECZ and all the people in ECZ, they will not be appointed by the president. That is to make ECZ to be an autonomous body. But as we speak right now, ECZ is not autonomous.
Your time is up.
The president
we'll get back to you,
Mr.
Matomola. Your time is up. But of course, there's been different records of ECZ saying that they've been engaged in political parties. Let me throw it to you, UPPZ Secretary General, Mr. Kodwelani Sakala. What are your thoughts? Are you satisfied with how ECZ has engaged different political parties ahead of the elections?
As for me, I've confronted the Electoral Commission of Zambia before.
Yeah.
And where I felt they didn't do well, I didn't keep quiet. I didn't go on media. I confronted them. I spoke to one of them on where I felt they had sidelined, you know, the stakeholders or the political players. In this case, as UPPZ. Because in some cases, UPPZ was left out, not even invitation letters. But on ground, UPPZ has been participating in all the by-elections that have been from 2016 to date. And to my surprise, I saw the Electoral Commission of Zambia, in some cases, leaving out UPPZ not to be invited in some meetings. And I went there, I didn't keep quiet. I confronted some of them, sometimes even missing the name as United, Prosperous and Peaceful Zambia, telling us, you know, writing something very different. It was just towards the nominations when I told them to say, you cannot continue writing this. So in short, I'll classify them as 50% as on my part because they apologized where they didn't do well.
Yeah.
So in short, I'll still praise them because they admitted where they had not done well. So in short, in some meetings where I have attended, yeah, I will say they have consulted me. But in decision makings, in things that they have already decided to do, I will simply say it is things to debate about, because it's not the issue to talk about now. The issue is, am I satisfied that ECZ has brought us as stakeholders on board? The answer to me is on 50%. Because in many cases where ECZ is supposed to hear from us, yeah, as the players of the game, them being referees, they have not done that.
All right. So what is your assessment with the other political parties? I know you've really emphasized on how they have, you've tried to engage with them, but what of other different political parties? What's your assessment on that?
It was supposed to be them now to engage ECZ where they feel ECZ did not do well, because they are accommodative. They will invite you to come. I mean, they can't stop you because you are a stakeholder. You are somebody who is important in the game. So where you feel there is a problem, you are not stopped from visiting them.
So is it safe to say that it is the fault of the political parties that are not following up ECZ when they feel that they're not being engaged?
Somehow, it is the fault of us political players, because we have the right to reach their doorstep.
All right. Your time is up. Same question with you, Mr. Gabriel Kibombwe, the PF National Youth Secretary. Are you satisfied with how ECZ has engaged with different political parties ahead of the elections?
I stood here, attentively listening to my colleagues, and I must say that at the rate that the UPND are going, it will be very hard for them to see heaven. You cannot lie, to the face of the nation. Probably you've not told us that this is life, but this is the nation you're addressing.
No, it is life.
You can't go and reference things on record from Facebook, for example. Issues around the Zambia watchdog. PF is on record of having misused this fund. PF is on record of having... It's unacceptable. The Patriotic Front has been committed to accountability. That is straightforward. We've been committed to accountability. The COVID funds have been used for the purposes that they're intended for, and that is why Zambia, of all countries in the region, even the Western world, Zambia has done exceptionally well in managing COVID. I'm happy today they can even talk about COVID because it's a current pandemic that we're facing. They will not talk about HIV because they know it's in control. Last election, they would have been here talking about Korea, but they know Korea is not an issue. So these are people who jump from one issue to another in order to have relevance. Anyway, coming to the issue of ECZ. ECZ is an autonomous body, and the Patriotic Front remains committed to make sure that this body functions as autonomous as it can be. The poverty of thought, to realize that some things are for your information and some things are for discussion, some things are for input. That knowledge seems to be lacking with the UPND. When the Electoral Commission comes and tells you that you guys cannot hold rallies because it is dangerous for the Republic of Zambia, it's dangerous for our citizens, we have consulted the medical experts. Who are we to start consulting UPND? UPND as a party, is comprised of educated people, uneducated people.
We cannot deny that UPND is the
how are you
biggest
going? Just a minute.
party.
You gave him 9 minutes, and you can give me just 3. Okay?
No, I'm giving equally 3 minutes.
Give me 3 minutes.
Yeah.
Instead of 9, just give me 3.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you have 43 seconds now.
There is no way that you're going to get UPND requesting us to say they did not ask us to vote. You want the country to go to vote whether they are going to be having rallies or not. How irresponsible would this be? How irresponsible would our government be? Maybe they'll be rejoicing because the pressure to contain the COVID-19 pandemic will be on the Patriotic Front government.
Do you believe
and to them as opposition, they'll be rejoicing.
ECZ has been consultative with most political parties?
ECZ has been consultative. At least he acknowledges having been in a consultative forum. It is not all fora that I must attend. They should know which fora is at his level. There are forums for the president. There are forums for the losing president that he can attend. There are forums for President Edgar Chagwarungu that he must attend. There are forums for the youth where I attend as National Youth Secretary.
Thank you so much. But I would want to ask you this question, which you interrupted with me. Do you agree that UPND is the biggest opposition political party?
Based on last year's results, yes, I know it's an opposition political party that has been in opposition. Is it 23 years now?
The biggest. We are talking about.
No, I'm qualifying it. I'm qualifying it.
Yeah.
Yes, it is. They've built themselves as an opposition party over the last 23 years. They are the biggest and the longest serving, the most losing opposition political party.
Yes, do you believe such a party which is influential shouldn't be consulted by ECZ?
They are consulted, but they are not a god. That what they want to go must go. They are not a god. In terms of politics, all political parties are the same, irrespective whether you are ruling or you are not ruling. And this kind of arrogance when you're still in opposition
so much. Your time is
very dangerous.
I just
for this
added
country.
a few seconds to your to the questions I was asking you. Let's get to you, UPND, Lusaka District, IPS, Mr. Matomola. Political violence, which is a very big problem, and we've seen that it's been happening, it's been surfacing in Zambia currently. Who is to blame for the damaging of political posters and banners? We've seen that PF's banners have been damaged, and as well as UPND. Who is to blame for this?
Thank you so much. To be on this platform and never to speak the truth, I'll be disappointing the God who gave me this opportunity to represent the Zambian people. And the truth of the matter is that President Edgar Chagwarungu, the president of this country, he is to be blamed for the anarchy that is happening right now in this country. The political violence that is happening in this country, it is to be blamed by the head of state.
Why are you blaming him?
Who appointed the Minister of Home Affairs, who appointed the Minister of Home Affairs, the president who is the boss of IG Kanganja, the president who is the boss of the police. the commander-in-chief of the armed forces will be blamed for everything that is happening. Why? The police are tolerating these things. And the president is also the president of the PF. He is a leader. He is a presidential candidate for the PF cadres and the thugs and criminals. Right now, as I speak to you, the Muchinga UPND vice chairperson has been hacked in the brain. The video is all over. It is circulating on social media. UPND has lost many people at the hands of PF criminals. They killed Grasta Matapa, and the PF cadre who killed Grasta Matapa is in jail as we speak. They killed Mapenzi Chibulo. They killed Lawrence Banda.
We are talking about.
We are talking about people who have been killed, and
we'll get to the physical violence. But we are talking to the banners.
I'm coming to the banners now.
Yeah, please.
The banners that I'm talking about.
Let's answer the questions accordingly. Yeah.
I'm painting a picture that we are being governed by a group of thugs and criminals who have been busy touching and destroying our banners. President Hakainde Hichilema's banners are the only ones that have been vandalized and destroyed. I've never seen a single PF banner that have been destroyed.
There is a PF banner that has been destroyed. I've never
seen that, to the best of my knowledge. And the other thing that I want to say is that when you go in town today, you will see that the only posters that you are seeing around are PF posters, because PF criminals and thugs are on a rampage beating our people. There is even an image of a man, a PF cadre. It is circulating on social media. He went on a rampage tearing UPND papers, UPND posters. I want to say that as UPND, we are not violent. The PF are the ones that have been hacking us. Even me personally, have been a victim. You've seen me on countless occasions.
Well, you're talking about UPND not being violent, but of course, just in Chingola yesterday or the other day, if I'm not mistaken, you as UPND did, obviously, reports are there. You did, assault PF cadres.
The police have not arrested them. So far we cannot confirm that those were UPND. But I'm talking about cases that have been
all right, your time is up. Your time is up. You'll be able to respond. I know you're eager to respond to him, Mr. Gabriel Kibombwe, but you'll be able to respond when I ask you the same question. All right? So please take your time, and of course, the time will come to you. Let me take it through Mr. Kodwelani Sakala, who is the UPPZ Secretary General. Who is to blame for this, political violence that was seen, the damaging of posters and, banners around, and realizing that, of course, you are, an opposition political party observing what is going on. What is your thought on that?
As united, prosperous, and peaceful Zambia, our ideology is to maintain peace in the country, to bring unity of purpose, and to allow political parties or political players shake hands, have, fellowship, together and discuss issues, not on personal distraction or what is going on, like what you're asking me. And this is very unfortunate to our two political parties. I'm just disappointed now where almost violence is trying to, to come on board, which is not supposed to be. And as UPPZ, in fact, thank God that I'm here, to bring the peace that is supposed to be. In short, my blame, I may not throw it to anyone, but I've seen this struggle, fight to the two political parties. My brother here, as the PF and the UPND, these people have been, it is everywhere, on the ground. From 2016, they have been at loggerheads. Best reasons are known to themselves. But as politics demand, it's not about violence. Right now, I want to lecture them, these who are here, and those that are listening to me, the cadres that they have allowed to destroy the banners and the posters for each other. I am blaming both of them, because I've seen with my two naked eyes. Even today, I had to stop driving. One of them was destroying, the posters, not my own posters, the posters for some other political parties. This should not be allowed by any of these, including me. Because according to the electoral process... What did you do
when you saw that? Did you stop them?
I stopped them. They had to run away because it's not, allowed. And this should be, the duty of both parties, the PF and the UPND, when they see any of them destroying other people's posters or even banners, they have a responsibility to stop their fellow, followers of doing that. That's being responsible. Distraction doesn't mean we win you a vote. Never. It will never be. It's the message that you carry to the people. What you tell them, it is what will hook them to vote for you. Not to destroy the banners and the pictures or the posters. That should not be allowed in the contemporary political environment.
Thank you so much. Your time is up. Let me get to you finally, Mr. Gabriel Kibombwe. I know you've been heating up to answer this particular question. Who is to blame for the damaging of the political posters and banners?
Yes, so, you can blame different players at different levels. Of course, I would never blame the leadership of the Patriotic Front. I would never blame my president, not even one bit, because he's been on record several times, despite many priorities that he has, to condemn all forms of violence. That you cannot compare the number of times that our president, Dr. Edgar Chagwa Lungu, has been on the podium condemning violence.
It's condemning enough.
What else can the president go and do? Come to your homes? Who's going to? Of course, anybody who is registered. In fact, it's very good that if he's saying that the PF is in power, and to demonstrate that the president and the Patriotic Front does not tolerate any form of violence, at least he has testified that he knows of one PF official who was incarcerated. You even know of our former Eastern Province provincial youth chairman who was incarcerated. That happens with the Patriotic Front. That is to demonstrate that no one is above the law. We are all equals. I'm coming from North Mid, and if you know the North Mid chairman for the Patriotic Front, today I must be very, very sorry that the man has undergone an extirpation of the eye. If you know what that means, they want to remove his eye because catapults were used by UPND cadres. And in his socket was locked in a marble. That is the UPND for you. Today, on Saturday, give me a minute. Yeah. On Saturday, I was in Chipata. Lyson Nyirenda, their Eastern Province chairman, I had to beg with him, with William, the incoming mayor in Chipata, to release the PF youth who they captured and took into the compound out of violence. You've seen when it comes to banners, go to Choma. Remember there was a banner on social media that was celebrating that we have actually broken grounds in Choma. Before you knew it, 3-4 minutes later, it had a slit in between. But you go to Nyimba, I was passing through Nyimba there. Their flags are there, we're coexisting. Go to Chadiza, I was in Chadiza on Friday. Go to Chadiza at Zemba Primary School. Where
so who are you blaming?
The flags are there.
Who are you blaming?
For UPND, we are watching them. So I'm blaming the hypocrites in the leadership of UPND. Because I'll tell you, give me a chance. Give me a chance. Yeah. Give me a chance. I'll tell you that. Violence does not. Running. Yeah. You're actually entering into my time.
Yeah, because the time is running. And,
well, I'll give you a chance to speak then. Maybe I can be the one asking the questions and you give the answers.
Please.
So I'm giving you the answers.
Yeah.
Allow me to give you the answers. So violence does not benefit the ruling government. It would be foolish of any ruling party to cause anarchy in the country that you're already ruling. And we are not that foolish. And we will not retaliate.
All right.
And this is the reason why we are that smart as a patriotic front to only give people the message. They will touch our billboards. I mean, why can't they suspect the Socialist Party who's been writing to them, Zivote Reweka, 5 times losing is too much?
All right.
Why should they bring it to Patriotic Front without any evidence?
All right, your 15 seconds is done, but I have this question for you. There was a video that was trending last week on social media of PF, cadres, suspected PF cadres in PF regalia, beating up a woman in Kitwe. And this is what I'm saying. It's not just the UPND. We've seen this with our own eyes. Why are you, also getting into a violence as a PF, even though your leader has condemned it?
So you ask him why he's carrying PF regalia in his own car?
No, the question, I've asked you a question.
No, I'm asking you to ask my colleague why he's carrying...
Answer my question and I'll be able to ask him.
So I'll answer the question. The question is because this violence is organized. Why would the UPND cadre be carrying material for PF in his vehicle? To use for what? These are the same people. They go around giving material. Himself, Matomola, when there was a burial for one of the guys who was shot, remember that incident at the cabinet office thereabout, where even a prosecutor was shot?
Yes.
He himself was wearing military regalia at the funeral service. The same youth,
thank you so much. Your
so
time is up, Mr. Kibombwe. I appreciate you answering that question, and you are certainly shifting the blame on another political party. And
because it's a gimmick.
No, because just last month we saw the issue of the self-proclaimed PF cadre, who PF commander per se, who was beaten by PF members at the secretariat. But anyway, let me get to UPND IPS Lusaka district IPS, of course, Mr. Matomola. My question to you is, what is so wrong with coexisting as political parties ahead of the elections? Why can't we just coexist and have a peaceful election in August?
There's nothing wrong with coexisting. We as a UPND, we have always been very open to coexist with anybody. And we have demonstrated that in deed and in word. It is our friends that do not want to coexist. It is them that see evil, that see us as evil men. When they see you on a billboard, they feel as if you can come out of the billboard. Let him not cheat. Let the PF not cheat that they are a violent party. Okay. If the camera can zoom a little bit here, you can see on my phone, there's a skull. There's a skull of someone. He has been hacked. Okay.
We have to.
This thing has happened now on Watchdog. Yeah. Those who are watching, they can see these things. Someone has been hacked. What I'm trying to say is that the violence of PF is what has made coexistence to be impossible and to be difficult. Okay? The violence that we are seeing where people are not free to work with UPND regalia because they'll be beaten. There are a lot of people who have been beaten, who have been hacked at the expense of only wearing a UPND regalia. There are a lot of, some of us have been attacked, and this thing of him saying, no, why is he carrying a UPND, a PF regalia in his vehicle? I don't drive. I don't have a vehicle outside. He came with a vehicle with cadres outside. So when we talk about violence, there is a TV interview going on. Somebody comes with cadres. For what? My brother, I want to assure you that this government that you have of pangas will not take this country anywhere.
Why can't
I want to say that coexistence, the beginning of coexistence, simply means that we must tolerate each other. Okay, if I hold a different opinion about you, you must tolerate me. But what the PF have done is that they have failed to tolerate divergent views. Everybody who speaks a different view, contrary to what they believe, is an enemy. A lawyer holds a different view that President Rungu doesn't qualify. He becomes, to be qualified for third term, he becomes an enemy of them. There are a lot of people who have been hacked and victimized. I was arrested in police custody for 23 days. I did not commit any crime. The only crime I committed was because I belonged to UPND. I was further denied police bond.
So what should be done?
Police bond because I belong to UPND. Coexistence simply means that we must tolerate each other.
What should be done? So you're saying we need to tolerate each other. Why don't you lead by example as UPND to tolerate the PF? or any other party.
What have we done as UPND to harm the PF? Today, I want to assure you, journalists, go to intercede with the UPND Regalia and see if you are going to come out alive. These people, they have got a press called Come God. I want to assure the nation today, the thuggery and the criminality that the PF have is what has made coexistence to be impossible. They have got a press in Soweto, they are called Come God.
All right.
This Come God,
The
no,
time
let
is
me
up.
speak. We will give him chance.
Okay, I'll give you 15 seconds
yes,
more.
15
I'll give you 15 seconds
This
more.
is very important to the
Yeah.
nation.
I'll give you 15 seconds
Absolutely,
more.
they have got a place, these PF cadres called Come God in the city market in Soweto area where they are keeping guns, where they are keeping machetes, and that Come
What
God,
proof do you have?
We have proof, we have evidence because we were taken there. I was taken there. I was taken to that place called Come God where they are beating up people who belong to UPND. They are beating up people, they are grabbing property. Those criminals are there.
All right.
That is what
Thank
has
you so
made
much.
coexistence to be impossible because
thank
we are
you
dealing with criminals.
so much.
in
I'm
power.
a journalist, and for me, I work with facts. If you bring us proof of that, what you're speaking of, then definitely we can be even able to use it for his questioning. But we don't have the proof, so we get to Kodwelani Sakala, who is UPPZ Secretary General. What is wrong with us not coexisting in Zambia in politics?
UPPZ wants to teach these, my two comrades, together with their following, politics. And the politics which make sense to the Zambian people. Coexisting, it's not a problem. And with us as UPPZ, we cannot fail to, I cannot fail to be with my brother from PF, including my comrade from UPND. Because what I know is it is politics of ideologies, not politics of carrying pangas.
Yes.
You will never, and you have never heard, I should believe, that UPPZ, a follower, has hacked or has been arrested because of violence and so on.
Maybe when you become influential, you shall be as well.
We are influential. In the Eastern Province, in Kasenengwa, we had a by-election. We came out number 2. I mean, how influential do you want to be? That was an election. We came out number 2. In Luapula, we came out number 3. There were other political parties. I mean, is that not being influential? For you to come out number 3. It's not a joke, my friend, when you're talking about politics. But still, in our political space or ideologies, we tell the people what we will do for them. Not who will cut or who will machete. No, because we have seen those are politics of primitivity. People that do not understand why they are in politics. As for me, I understand and I know why. And I know why UPPZ is existing. Because it wants to offer unity to the nation. If I ask the two comrades that I have, what do they have to offer for the nation? If always when they meet, it is chaos and bloodshed, I mean, they should be ashamed of themselves to lead this nation. Because I found it so disappointing to see whenever UPND and PF meet, there will never be peace. I'm telling you because I've seen it. It is on record. You journalists, you are aware about these facts. So the issue is understanding why they are in politics. As UPPZ, we are there to unite the nation. We are there to offer checks and balances.
So what should be done to both parties to ensure that there is coexistence?
They should not poke nose in other people's affairs. Where they need to offer checks and balances, they should offer them. By carrying a panga or zipping up the mouths of those that are speaking doesn't solve the problem that you are in. So the issue is allow democracy to prevail. Allow the people to speak out what is on the ground.
Right.
And this will allow coexisting.
All
if
right.
we allow
Thank you so much.
other views
Yeah.
from everywhere,
All right.
this will allow us to be in fellowship. And I believe I think as we leave from here, they will learn 1 or 2 things, I think, from me. Because I've already seen that there's fire on the mountain.
Yeah.
they'll be throwing punches on one another.
I believe not, and we hope that we'll set an example to the many Zambians watching us. We don't want to have other news stories, tomorrow saying UPND and PF did clash on Blunt Talk, moderated by Chisha Chola. But let's get to you, Mr. Gabriel Kibombwe, PF National Youth Secretary. What is so wrong with us coexisting as political parties in Zambia?
There is nothing, honestly, nothing wrong with coexisting.
Yeah.
There's been two parties at least that have been ruling, and both of them have been clashing with the UPND. Even if you go to your mother every day, no, ujan one day wakumenya. Neighbor ujan even one day wakumenya. The other one again, you're the only one who is a victim.
But
the whole community.
When MMD was ruling,
you see, give me a chance. Give me a chance.
I
get a feeling like you're cutting me short.
You've mentioned something that has caught my ear. When MMD was ruling, PF had clashes with MMD mostly.
PF had some clashes.
Yeah.
UPND had some clashes. And that's what I'm saying. UPND has persistently has ever been in the opposition. And they've ever clashed with the ruling party. And like I said before, a ruling party has everything to lose when there's violence, when there's anarchy. So there can't be that child who always, you are a good boy, it's not possible. There's a big problem with UPND. There's a big problem in the way they conduct themselves. See the blunt lies he's giving here. No, there are guns somewhere in Soweto. In Soweto, if you are claiming to be strong as a party, you've got a structure there. Why doesn't the structure of UPND, which they are saying they have taken over, they are now strong, they've gained the ground, why can they sort out that Kasem Kamgodi, which I never knew of? Maybe my friend from UPPA knows about it. I don't know about it. Okay, so if you are going to have this kind of cadreship where you can lie blatantly, then you're definitely not going to see us coexisting. How can we coexist? PF is coexisting with NDC. PF is coexisting with MMD, whom we are saying we're at clashes. We are coexisting. But look at the UPND. Ask him to go and express himself. The same Likwanya you are seeing here will be parading himself naked at Unza, marching in Unza. And then when he's arrested for indecent exposure, he wants to come back and say, no, I was arrested by the PF. No. They are just a wrong bunch of political learners. The day they will learn to bring out issues, to provide a full-page manifesto like the 27 chapters that the Patriotic Front has presented, sector by sector, not these 10-point plans, then Zambians will begin to listen to them. Then we can begin to coexist. Otherwise, how do we coexist? Someone has no agenda. Someone has no issues to discuss. They are bringing out a 10-point plan on one page. You want to discuss the national affairs on a palm?
What is the solution for coexisting of the Patriotic Front and the UPND?
The solution is, first of all, for them to accept those who are leaving them and listen to the people who are leaving them. When Charmaine says, I'm going, sorry, you are violent, I cannot believe in your ideologies. When your spokesperson, Kakoma, says, I'm leaving you today,
what is your role?
Then you know
as
that they need to listen.
In coexisting, what is your role?
My role is to invite them to the party of choice. A party that is built on the premise of Christian values.
No, coexisting means that there are two parties, Mr. Kibombwe. It doesn't mean that they have to join you. Coexisting means that two parties and they are peacefully living together.
No, the other parties will be there, MMD will be there. What we want to do is to solve violence by finishing this party. Because it's a violent one. Absorb them so they are not violent anymore.
What is the way forward now as a ruling party to coexist?
As a ruling party, we will continue to avoid the aggressive UPND. We will allow the police to be independent, to do their job professionally. If someone is going to tell a lie, they will follow them for that lie. If someone is going to parade himself as indecent exposure, they will follow him. ECZ will do their part. We have a constitution that guides us. When they're talking about prisoners voting, they'll vote. The constitution allows them. So ours is to remain a law-abiding
My
party.
last questions, I know time is really running out, and my last questions to all of you on the panel is a yes or no answer. I do not expect you people to give me explanations because we only have 1 minute. I'll start with Mr. Matomola, the UPND Lusaka District IPS. With the political violence that we're experiencing now, do you believe we'll have free and fair elections coming 12th August?
But you gave him chance to explain.
No, this is yes or no. This is the last.
How you can, because you are not fair. You have given him 7 minutes to explain.
That was the last series of questions, second last series of questions, and all of you were given 3 minutes each.
So give us a minute to explain.
No, because of time, I cannot give you more than 2 seconds, and this is why I'm telling you yes or no answer.
There will be no free and fair election provided that the
Thank you so much.
They continue to be a criminal
Thank you so
party.
much. UPPZ Secretary General, yes or no, do you believe we'll have free and fair elections coming 12th August with all this political violence happening?
Violence will not provide a free and fair election.
Thank you so much. Mr. Gabriel Kibombwe, the PF National Youth Secretary, do you believe that we'll have free and fair elections coming 12th August with all this political violence?
We're a more mature democracy. So based on history, yes, we've had fair elections and we will have free and fair
elections. All right,
elections.
thank you so much. Yeah, I don't know why it's difficult to just give yes or no. Thank you so much for coming, all three panelists, and I hope that even as we move out from this building, we shall be as peaceful as we came.
I'll give him the right since he said he's coming not to have a car, but you want to get a Gabriel from your vehicle.
All right, thank you so much. Political violence ahead of elections was our topic on Blunt Talk this evening, the 7th of June 2021. Thank you so much for watching. And of course, we'll be back on Monday next week at 20 hours. My name is Chisha Chola. This is Blunt Talk, the fearless debate.
This is Zambia, this the nation. Yeah. Give us, you give us. This is Zambia, the home of copper. This is Zambia, this the nation. Yeah. Give us, you give us. This is Zambia, the home of copper.